In the process of throwing a punch, he's going to throw a punch real slow. First of all, what you do is if you notice a foot movement and everything else that takes place, George, if he was just trying to figure out how his punch is being thrown, a lot of you might just think in terms of the arm, or the arm from the chest. But in actually the process of the motion, I want you to throw the punch slowly, but tell me what is the very first muscle in your anatomy that moves in order for you to throw the punch.
Lower base leg.
Lower base leg.
Sense.
Now, what you think about it again?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hip.
Well, you better think some more. Is there any flexing with the toes?
Yeah.
What came first?
It'd have to be the toes because I got to shift to get my.
How come you didn't think about that?
Didn't even feel it. I was not even thinking about it.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. What you'll have a tendency to do is all of that. Now, are you correct with that? When it comes to a zigzag, we have the front of the anatomy, we have the back side of the anatomy. The back side, if you're projecting a forward motion, the back side of the anatomy moves as well as the forward motion. Now think in terms of your back muscles. See what actually triggered the toe.
Like, I think lower back feels like.
Now, what would cause the lower back to move? What's the largest muscle in the anatomy?
Glute.
Okay.
The butt's moving first.
Right. That's right. You had to squeeze.
Yeah, but you don't even feel it until the back starts to move. Yeah.
Okay, but see, how come you want to wear that?
No idea.
Okay, now, can that really happen? Which side flex first?
I think the right side.
I think the right side. Now, if that's true, if the right side moved, let's see if this moves at all.
Has to.
So this had to move for that to move.
Yes.
And that had to move for the toe to move.
Yes.
So you actually had what was triggering this motion had to do with this. But, is that true? What about this muscle back here in the neck?
Yeah, that has to move.
That had to move for this to move, right? Right? Oh my goodness, what about the ear?
Yeah.
Ear had to move before this could move, before this could move. Those of you that are watching the video, understand there's so many different things that you're not paying attention to. If you create a 90 to where your opponent is, you will cause them to overmove. Another thing, what I'm doing now, if I were to do this in an overt fashion, this is what it would look like. Man is moving, I move. I want to move to the 90. He moves, I come up. I continue my motion, throw. That, to me, is overtly done. Too much movement. What I would wish to do is I'm going to take my center this time. I'm going to use my right foot by edging my right foot inward. As he does, the block's here. I'm bringing the knee up to establish the same movement now. Here's my new center. So I've got my knee braced right up to where his elbow is. And if you notice, as I bring him down, his elbow's going to go right to where that knee was. So now the throw takes place. Now, watch how much movement I'm making to do the same thing. The foot moves, position up with the knee, take back down, I have my throw. I'm not over moving. Now, so what I want you to do is pull your punch back when you see me move, okay? Too much movement again. Again. The difference is what's happening is I'm creating a motion before he can respond to it. Therefore, the throw takes place. Now, center changes in different ways. We have this in kosher. Now, I want to point this out to you. Keeping, praying hand. First utilization from the physical standpoint is escaping of it. Second, skeletal blows. Kaiushu, first utilization in the physical realm is to throw, to fold. Next or last is the internal blows or strikes. First is muscular from the physical realm. Next is destruction. All of these aspects of the art will work. You can also look at them from timing. Escaping, meaning that I can do this first to move the whole body away. I can do this second to affect skeletal structure. Okay? And the last, or I can take it and work the escaping from combining these and compressing. So as he moves, what I've done right now is I brought my knee in, which did what to his anatomy. And so basically for him to recoup, he has to shift his weight which way? This way. As he does, I guide him. I've done the same thing as an escape now. But what I did is I took my body, come on here a little bit more, slow. Foot came in, 1, 2, and I brought the knee inward, okay, which compresses it. All right, now if I'm going to throw, I just rotate the knee out. Because there's a connection between Tori and Uki. This causes him to guide and go in this direction. Therefore, I also have to throw. Watch again. On moves, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3. Knee comes out, 4. I don't know if you can see this. Watch again. Slow. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Each motion, you got to remember, you will adjust your centers. Do not create an absolute. Don't make one thing happen. Okay, now watch. We're going to take entries are established by where your weight is or where your weight isn't. But an entry is altered by what you alter in your opponent. So for instance, if Pat starts to throw a punch and I do this, I right away shifted his hip to this direction. Okay? This is inappropriate because his punch is zeroed in. However, if you look at the rotation of the arm, if I wish to do this but to alter another part of Pat, and you see where my hand is, it's actually here. And I can collapse the center. All I did is I picked the point of retraction. So in a sense, this is going to be tough. In a sense, my center has been, I moved my center, did what I'm telling you guys not to do, for the purpose of reestablishing my contact point center, which is here. So my center is really here, but he sees it here. So as he moves, I'm doing this. There's my hand. He's looking at this center, he doesn't know that this exists. So if I take my hand and I bring it in thusly as he moves, I collapse his own center. So he's here. So since he's here and he punches, I go here. That's what's going to happen to the opponent. I'll show you this from this angle. Slow motion. So I move to this side. If you notice how he's positioned himself here because he wants to hit. But if I just take my hand and I collapse thusly, what I'm doing is collapsing from here to here. Okay, my opponent starts to move. If I just raise up at this point, he's in this posture. From here, I can take my hand, and I don't even have to twist. All I have to do is step, and the thumb will do the rest. There's the throw. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my opponent. This time I'm doing a reversal. I'm letting him shift to my own center. But what he doesn't understand is I'm using proper mind by really establishing my center by my extended hand. From there I cut the angle from the extension down to his right leg. Let's watch this again. See if we can get the whole body. So as he's punching, 1, center. He's seeing this. He doesn't feel the contact point until now. You notice where he's at. Now because I have him here, if I rotate now my left knee with the contact point here, and I make this my new center, look what happens. He's going to go right in line with that knee. Again, 1, center collapses, knee. Okay, now if I rotate it this way, 1, center collapses, knee in, goes here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the center, being consistent with his reality of center. But the illusion I create is he doesn't see this, which really establishes a center to this point. Now again, if you created an absolute from the last set of movement, you made a mistake again. You got to understand it depends upon what part of your anatomy moves and what part doesn't. Sensei's punching again, but this time I stay consistent by moving the heel in. My strike is here, but what I've really done is establish this is my center because I brought the foot in. So where's he now? Now he's here. Am I taking on body mass at all? Okay, again, foot comes in, 1, center comes up, bring the foot back into that posture, he's here. So if you're going to use the strike, as he moves, 1, here, the strike is solid, right? And this is crushing the sternum. Okay? So the movement again is like so. Heel here. And what does it feel like?
Yeah. Power.
Okay.
Come right there.
Now, what it appears like is that he's going to punch straight through me.
Right.
Okay? But what's happened is I'm coming 1, 2. The direction in the strike is here. Those of you who do Chinese arts or some of the Wong floors, you have the palm. Instead of this, it's the heel. And it's going to feel like a lead brick. Okay? All I'm doing is reestablishing center and alignments. And I'm not taking on body mass. Now what will happen though is as you're viewing this, you might look at it and say, well, I really don't see how that works. But if you understand structure again, if you take body postures, George, what I want you to do is you're going to stand right here. You feel that, right? If I bring the heel in and I'm going to bring the heel down, what do you feel?
Complete unbalanced center drop strike, pull up
What
under.
did it do to your spine?
Dropped it right through my hips into the floor.
Am I pushing?
Not hardly any pressure.
So all I'm doing is this is here. This comes back. That'll compress the spine all the way down to the hips and the back and the leg. Am I right?
You're right, I can't get my center.
So this is 1. He doesn't feel it, right?
Right.
When the heel comes down, I move the foot again. It'll compress. If I wish to get a different effect, I'll come here and I'll rotate back, but it'll be softly, and I'll project the knee up. So if you have somebody you wish to push them, you come 1. I'm not pushing them.
Hardly any pressure.
This, I'm coming down. It'll compress the spine. So, okay. So if you take this and you take the concepts again, center is established through touch. Touch responds to reaction based upon their perceived center. Changing center changes the effect of the blow or the strike or the hit.